look at it this way. You wouldn't buy a car, and when the odometer on that car flicked past a certain number, the car would just stop and flatly refuse to move. Would you? Because it seems to be that is what is happening with this printer. Hi, it's Adam here from adaminsights.com. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you've come across the Epson E11 error and you're looking for a way to resolve it. Well, I'm going to help you. So, a little while ago, I had to buy myself a brand new Epson EcoTank printer for home printing for photos, documents and designs. And I genuinely don't think that I actually needed to buy this thing. Because it was all because of the Epson E11 error that came up on my older Epson EcoTank printer. So, a bit of background here. In December 2017, I bought myself an Epson ET2650 EcoTank printer. And I was really happy with it. I made a really positive review for it, which is still on my YouTube channel. You can go ahead and watch that. I said loads of great things about it because I was so impressed about the quality of the prints for photos and for general design work and for printing documents. And it truly was, or it seemed to be, a really economical solution for high volume printing at home or in a small office. But then, one weekend I was printing some photos at home because I enjoy printing photos, and one of the reasons that I bought this printer was for high volume home photo printing. So there I was, printing these photos, and suddenly on the screen up came an error message: Epson E11 error, maintenance required, cannot print. Seriously? Cannot print? I tried printing again, computer said no, and even the scanner in this thing suddenly became deactivated, so I couldn't even use it as a scanner with the E11 error, cannot print. The whole thing just became a brick. That really upset me. So what exactly is the Epson E11 error? Well, it's activated when either a counter or a sensor in the waste ink management system of the printer decides that the waste ink pads are full. So the waste ink pads in Epson printers collect ink that doesn't make it onto the paper. So I guess if you're doing some edge-to-edge printing, or whenever the printer cleans its nozzles or does a power ink flush, any ink that doesn't end up on paper goes into the waste ink system. And it's not actually user removable. There are some more expensive printers where the user can clean out the waste ink system, but they're double, or in some cases more than double, the price of these ones, so they kind of defeat the whole purpose. So when the printer decides that the waste ink management system is full, it's just going to brick itself and you can't do anything. You can't print, you can't scan. It turns out you can manually reset the waste ink management system, but only for a few prints to get you out of trouble if you urgently needed something. The only way to get this resolved is to pay for a service technician to clean out the waste management system for you, or to buy a new printer. I guess look at it this way. You wouldn't buy a car, and when the odometer on that car flicked past a certain number, the car would just stop and flatly refuse to move. Would you? Because it seems to be that is what is happening with this printer. Once it had printed a certain amount of sheets, or once a sensor had kicked in, it was just flatly refusing to print. It's my product. I should be allowed to keep using it for as long as I can until it genuinely wears out. Why should a sensor or a counter in the printer, whatever is actually doing to tell me that this E11 error has taken place, decide that I can't print anymore? Sure enough, I could manually reset it, but that wouldn't get me out of trouble for a long time. So what is my gripe with the Epson E11 error? Well, firstly, that I couldn't print. Well, yeah, obviously, but to me, I don't really think it seems very fair, because the Epson EcoTank printers are meant to last 2 years with one set of ink out of the box, and that was about right for me. But I'd already bought a couple new sets of ink, hoping that I would get the printer to last for another 2, 3 or even 4 years. I was a bit of a fool. So this printer that I'd spent $600 on back in December 2017, at the time was 2.5 years old. And okay, so it was outside of warranty, but it was working just fine. And it was really hard for me to justify replacing something that was working fine in my view. Initially, I contacted Epson about this and I complained. I told them, look, I love your products. I've bought a lot of Epson products in the past, which I genuinely have. And the initial support request was just to send me a link to the E11 article on their website, telling me what the E11 error was. I mean, dear guys, I knew exactly what the E11 error is all about. So that's why I was reaching out to you to see if we could work something out here. After a bit of toing and froing, I really decided I had no choice but to buy a new printer. Obviously, what did I decide on? I bought another EcoTank printer because I genuinely think that they're a high quality product, but I have some pretty serious issues with this E11 error. I'm guessing sometime soon, because I've had this new EcoTank printer now for about 14 months and I've done a lot of printing on it. Sometime soon I'm going to get the E11 error on that one as well, and I'm going to end up being forced to buy another printer. That kind of, to me, defeats the whole purpose of buying the EcoTank printer, which, because it's designed for high volume printing, you would expect it to last a long time. So, if you've got the E11 error, what can you do to resolve it? There are a few utilities out there, one of them by Epson, which can reset the waste ink counter or sensor, whatever it is, for a short period of time if you urgently need to print documents. You can do that. There are some third-party tools out there which supposedly can reset it permanently. I don't know if they're at all safe, or I don't know if they're even going to work, so I can't really comment on them. You can pay for a technician to sort out your waste ink management system on your printer and clean it out, or replace your waste ink pads. You could do that, but then there's just no guarantee how much longer the printer's going to last. Or you could just buy another printer. To me, that genuinely seemed like the best way forward. For me, I didn't want to have to buy a new printer, but unless I wanted to spend a few $100s on fixing an older printer with no guarantee it was just going to keep working for a long period of time after that, I just decided I'll just spend a little bit more and replace the printer altogether.